This is the day, right?
Yep.
Okay.
This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made.
That was quick.
No, I got it last year.
Thank you very much. And actually, knowingly, unknowingly, you have given an introduction of my talk. This is the day that God has made. And let us enjoy, because the application of Vedanta in everyday life that we are going to discuss about, and that speaks about exactly the same thing. But we have to know about all this. Now, friends, Vedanta is a philosophy, and that speaks about the spiritual world. And everyday life means the mundane life, mundane world. It may be a question how the knowledge of spiritual world can help us in this mundane life, in this mundane world. To understand, we should have a clear idea about the Vedanta and also what are the problems of life. Vedanta is a philosophy, and philosophy means a process of thought to understand the mystery of creation, creator, and the relation between the creation and the creator. The philosophy is a research report that helps the human to take decision in his life in different situations. So that is a very unique thing, very special thing. The moment we talk about the philosophy, we think it's something which goes above our head, and we do not understand that. No, that cannot be the philosophy. Philosophy is supposed to give us some help. We know the success to a great extent depend on the research report. The more perfect is the research, the more easy for us to do the work. Before launching a product in the market, the businessman does the market survey, even paying high cost, because they know this is very, very important. Even for the game, one team wants to know the strategy of the opponent group. The armed forces, before launching an attack on the enemy, try their best to collect the information about the enemy. Now, if we ask ourselves what every human wants to have, so that is the survey that we have to do. What we want actually in the human community, if you go, if you ask, in the beginning we are confused, so we say, I want a car, I want a house, I want a job, I want this, that. Actually, each and every human, they want, obviously, without any exception, peace, harmony, happiness, and progress. These are the four things we want: peace, harmony, happiness, and progress. So these four things is the human demand. How to get it? How we can achieve that? That is the main question. How one can achieve peace? The Vedanta says through knowledge. And what is this knowledge again? Understanding a thing or a person or a situation in totality. Sometimes we say that there's a problem, Actually, the problem means it is a situation, and if we can handle the situation properly, there is no problem. But when we cannot handle that situation properly, it becomes a problem. So it is always a situation, something is happening. So that is called knowledge, understanding a thing or a person or a situation in totally. Then problem comes mainly because of ignorance. I can remember the one thing that happened. Because of the ignorance, how serious things may happen. One young man came, he is known to us, and he came 1 or 2 days. I saw he is visiting frequently, but I noticed that he is not very happy. One day I asked him, is there any problem? Then he disclosed. So I used to love one girl, a lady, and suddenly for last 17 days she has stopped communicating with me. I don't know where she is. Everything she has changed. I cannot even she receiving my call, all this. And naturally this young man was fuming, the betrayer like that. I told, why don't you go and ask that person, or she may be having a family, go and see, something has happened. Before knowing the thing properly, why you are taking the decision? Ignorance. Then I told, you search her name, you know, maybe knowing the address. He knew the address. He went over there and came to know that she made an accident and she is in a hospital and under treatment. She not in a condition to receive the telephone call. How she will answer? And the family members were not knowing about this boy, the gentleman, how they can communicate. See, this is a serious thing. Only because of ignorance he was going to take a decision, because of ignorance. Very serious decision in the life. So this happens, then how we understand, this is a very important thing. And the Vedanta says there are 3 processes. The Vedanta is a very important thing in our life. Why? Because it has gone so deep and has taken out all those things. When we see, we understand something. When we hear, we understand something. Is that complete? Here it says there are 3 processes to understand. First is, in Sanskrit they call it pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means direct perception. What is the direct perception? Through our eyes we see, we get an idea. Or we listen. I have heard myself, sometimes we say. I had heard myself. So that way we say this is direct pratyaksha, and then touching, then tasting and smelling. There are the 5 organs that we are having. We have the eyes, we see, we get an idea, some information. Then we hear some words, we get some idea. Then we touch, we taste, and we smell. When I first came, the very first day I reached over here, in Chicago over here, I was not at all knowing that American pronunciation. And they were asking some name almost every time I was raising my hand. But they understood, they knew my name. So they told, not you, sit. After 2-3 times, when I got frustrated, then I thought, okay, let me take little rest. So I closed my eyes and nicely taking, and traveling so almost 18 hours is very, very tiring. So when I closed my eyes, I was dozing. Then someone came and touched me and told, this is your name now, announcing. So because of the pronunciation, I am hearing but making mistake. I am directly hearing, they are calling my name, announcing my name, but still I am making a mistake. Why? So that proves when I see something, as if that particular person I know, I go and then say, hey, how are you? Says, I don't know you. Oh, I'm sorry. Perception even can give a wrong impression, wrong knowledge. By hearing, by touching, by tasting, by smelling, we can make many, many wrong, though directly. Then comes the second is anumana, inference. We get the knowledge by three processes. First, direct, and the direct means through seeing, through hearing, through smelling, through touching, through tasting. But there may be some mistakes. I am testing something, I am thinking this is the thing, but it may be something else. And now, second is anumana. Anumana means inference. What is that inference? I see the smoke, that means there is fire. And when there is fire, there must be human being. The conclusion comes like that. When I see a smoke, there is fire. Without fire, there cannot be smoke. And when there is a fire, there must be human being, because the animals and birds cannot burn fire, cannot lit fire. So obviously, we come to conclusion, wherever there is a smoke, there is fire, there must be some human being. But sometimes, particularly in the California, they are all the time announcing, also in Australia, the wildfire, there is no human being. Of course, the smoke is there, fire is there, but the last conclusion, the fire means human being, cannot be. But sometimes it is true. I was going, many of you must be knowing, Amarnath is a great, very famous religious center for the Hindus in Kashmir. And you have after days walking or on the horseback to reach over there, full of snow. And when we reached on the top of the mountain and we have to go down again and then climb, the guide became tired and he said, it's of no use going there because everyone has left. It's a very bad time. Let us go back. Because the guide wanted to tell like that. And when I was thinking in that way, suddenly I saw that the smoke is coming up. Then I concluded. See, this is the Vedanta conclusion. Wherever there is a smoke, that means there is fire. And when there is fire, there must be some human being. Let us go. So that helped us. That inference. And when we came down, that's called Panch, 5 rivers are there. Panch Tarani, that means 5 rivers. That's a wonderful place. The valley, excellent. If you go, you'll really enjoy. And then when you went over there, we really found some people still waiting, and they were the last batch to come back. So we were there, it was so cold, they helped us, etc., etc. So all these things, the knowledge came through inference. But all the time, the inference, it is not true. Then finally comes Brahmana. What is that Brahmana? Brahmana means learning from the learned. When someone has come from some particular place, the astronaut who went to the moon, when he has come, when he is giving the lecture, giving the talk about the moon, we can believe him. Yes, he has already visited over there. He has seen in his own eyes. He has touched it, walked over there. So most of his words must be true. So that's called pramana. So when someone comes and say, I have seen God, I have talked to God, like Jesus. When you see the life of Lord Jesus, we can believe him. All through his life, he is talking about God only. And he doesn't need anything. We can believe him. So that's called pramana. So pratyaksha means direct, anumana inference, and pramana through the words of the realized soul. So that's called scripture. And that way we get knowledge. These are the 3, but there may be doubts. Some of the people, they declare that We have seen God, realized God, but after some time we come to know that no, they are frauds. Thousands of people will be following them, and afterwards they can understand that they have been cheated in the name of God. So this is pramana. Then fourth comes anubhuti. Anubhuti means realization. Anubhuti means revelation. When that knowledge comes, there is no doubt. There can never be any doubt. That's called anubhuti. That's the most perfect knowledge. Buddha, Moses, Jesus, Sri Ramakrishna, they learned the truth, the reality through anubhuti. Not through books, not by any other means. But now the friends, when we learn the knowledge which is the power for human being, there also have some processes, and these processes may be sometime correct and sometime wrong. But when we have the anubhuti, it's called aparaksha anubhuti. Without taking any help from anything or anybody, we are realizing the truth within our heart, and that can never be wrong. And from this point, in the Indian philosophy, we find that knowledge is becoming two. The two sections of knowledges. We are discussing about the Vedanta, and Vedanta means knowledge. And here we find one knowledge is called the mundane knowledge, the worldly knowledge. Another is spiritual knowledge. So from this point, the knowledge split into two, and in Sanskrit, now nicely they say, paracha eva aparacha. Cha means and. Para and apara. And this apara vidya means mundane knowledge. Para vidya means spiritual knowledge. And this spiritual and mundane, how it is different? The spiritual knowledge always a realization, revelation, and mundane knowledge, worldly knowledge, through all other means. And this para and apara, the spiritual knowledge, and then afterwards the para vidya, the spiritual knowledge, what they say? What is that knowledge? Yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Very simple Sanskrit. Yaya, by which, by that knowledge, tad, that, aksharam, unchangeable, adhigamate, is known. Now again comes one point, something that is unchangeable. This knowledge is called Vedanta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end, complete knowledge, perfect knowledge, end of all knowledges. Why? Because we have come to one. Every branch of knowledge, they try to find out the root. And one from which that flow of knowledge has grown. Chemistry is trying to find out one chemical from which all this. Physics is trying to find out one matter. And similarly, the religion has also tried to find out one from which everything has come. And they came to conclusion, the source of all, and they declared that particular as Brahman, then Jehovah, God, Buddha, Allah, in different names. But that each and every one is telling that God has created. Just now our friends, they were singing that in there they were mentioning this day has been created by God. So who has created the day? God. Night, God. All the seasons that we see, God. That means God has created everything, and that means it is one. The God is one, from which all these things, these varieties of name and fame, it has come. So according to Vedanta, it is Brahman. And Brahman is the creator. And now the funny thing is, when I am creating something, I need two things. One is intellectual, another is material. I am a carpenter, I am constructing, making this table, this podium. Now it is made of wood. And who has made this? A carpenter. They are two different things. So one is the material, another is the intellectual. But when this world was created, who created? Brahman. I am using the term of the Vedanta, Brahman. How it was created, with what it was created? From Brahman itself. God created this. The first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the Christianity they mention like that. Every day he is creating. Creating out of what? Because without God, except God, there was nothing else. Obviously, each and everything was made by God only. And the last day, the sixth day, the God created the human being. That is great importance is given over there. So why? That we will come to know a little afterwards. This, according to Vedanta, the creator is the intellectual and the material cause of creation. One without a second, eternal, unchangeable, all-pervading consciousness. Now one may ask, if Brahman is the material cause and at the same time intellectual cause of creation, are you also Brahman? And the Vedanta says, yes, you are also Brahman, because we have been created out of that. Now suppose out of milk some sweets have been made. If the sweets are asking, are you also milk? Yes. Similarly, we are also the same Brahman out of which we have been. And then they say, Jiva, Brahmaiva, na apara. This is a very strong statement. Jiva means all the creatures. Brahmaiva, they are also the Brahman, the same. Na apara, they are nothing else. Here, as the Lord Jesus said, I and my Father in heaven are one. Now we have made a totally different section. That Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. So he can say that, but not we. But from the Vedantic point of view, we cannot agree that. So that is the difference. We cannot agree. We say all of us. And we can say that Jesus is also telling, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Blessed are those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God. That means the potentiality is there. And similarly, the Vedanta says, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. I am that. That is the boldest statement. What is Brahman? If we ask the question, a real difficult question to answer, because no one can describe Brahman. Why? Because it is beyond time, space and causation. So no one can express it, they can feel. The seers of the old, after realizing the Brahman, which is extremely difficult, gave an expression about the Brahman, and that is Sat Chit Ananda. The three words, Sad, Chit, Ananda. S-A-T, C-H-I-T, Ananda, A-N-A-N-D-A. So these are the three words they say about the Brahman. Please remember, we too belong to that. And what is Sat? S-A-T means, Sat means existence. How can we say, how can we prove that we are also the same? Because no one wants to die. Each and every being wants to survive. Even an ant, if you go try to kill it, it will try its hard best to save its life. No one wants to die. Chid, C-H-I-D, means knowledge. We want to know when we want to know, we want to know. Always we want to know. We are always curious. And that is the speciality. and Ananda Sarupa, bliss absolute. Whatever we do, we always do for the joy, the bliss. In the summertime here, particularly at the Michigan and Illinois, all people, they come out with the bikes and they will be going with the bikes and they'll go to the lake, they are swimming, they are boating, they are enjoying. Whatever they are doing for the enjoyment. And whatever we do, expecting that we will get joy, we never do anything for that we will have the sorrow or suffering. We construct the building, expecting that we will enjoy living over there. Everything behind that is the joy. And why we expect that? Because in originality, because in original we are that. It's called Sarupa. In reality, suppose a duckling, the moment it is born, immediately it will search the water and it will be always ready to go to the water. But a puppy, if you show the water, it will go just opposite. Why? Because in reality, potentially, it is absent over there. So that proves in the human being particularly, it is very much expressed these three things: existence, knowledge, and bliss. And that bliss is absolute. Friends, I will be coming to the point how this knowledge, this Vedanta can help us in our day-to-day life. But unless and until we know who we really are and what is our goal, we won't be able to understand that. So I am giving at least a brief description of the Vedanta, the end of knowledge. When it is said that Brahman is eternal, at the same time it is also mentioned that we are also Brahman. To some extent we feel perplexed. Why? Brahman is eternal, but we experience birth and death and changes. How we can be eternal? These are questions they are asking. You say that we are Brahman, but at the same time we can realize, we can understand, we can all the time feeling that we are the birth and death and all the changes, but Brahman is eternal. Brahman is ever blissful, but we are experiencing joy and sorrow. How can you be Brahman? Brahman is ultimate, unlimited, but we are being limited in all aspects. How can you be Brahman? The Vedanta is a result of an excellent research. Each and every point they have asked, they have questioned, and then they researched it. It has observed the limitations and changes. It has also noticed that this world is ever changing. The days turn into nights, seasons follow each other, our bodies are going through changes, and that's called 6 changes in our body. First is born, second is exist, third is grow, develop, decay, and dies. So these are the 6 changes in a human body, in every body. And in Sanskrit they call it jayate, the birth, born, asti, existing, vardhate, grows, viparinyamate, develops, vipakshiyate, decays, and mriyate. I was seeing the pictures of the Second World War that were heroes. And when they were young, how they were. And now, today, when they are getting all those people are coming and just greeting them, how they are. The whole body changed. You cannot compare. This man was like this. Very strong body. He is standing over there on a ship, trying to face the enemies, fearless expression. And now, at this age, it's totally different. So naturally, when we see our childhood days photos, and now so much of changes. So jayate, born, exists, grows, develop, decay and death. These are the 6 changes. And they have also observed that changes are noticed by something static, something permanent. See, when the changes we observe, there must be something very static. I was a little boy, now I am a grown-up man. I am going to be old, I am going to die. I. This I is present in every change. And when this I is present, who is this I? And one Upanishad says, there is one who is eternal reality among non-eternal objects. So that is the Nitya Anityanam, Chetana as Chetananam. So I am not reading the whole thing. There is only one that is eternal, that I is eternal. There was a great sage. His name was Yashka. It was a very wonderful name, in the name of those days of Vedanta and the Veda. His name was Yashka. This Yashka, he has given a wonderful definition of human. Manushya Kashmat, he is asking this is in Sanskrit, who can be called as a human being? Manushya Kashmat, who can be called as a human being? Manushya means human being. And he is giving the answer, Matva Karmani Sibhyanti iti. One who performs any action, karmani, karma means action. One who performs any action only after judging the result of that work. That's called Manushya. This is the discriminating capacity, power that is very, very special in the human being. Using this capacity, if we live our lives, to a great extent, we can be free from suffering and misery. I am expecting the questions and then we will have the answers also. So friends, this is the Vedanta. The Vedanta means knowledge, last knowledge. What is that last knowledge? That we are eternal, that we are the source of joy, and we are the source of knowledge. These are the 3 things. Each and every one of us. Now, still, if we look at us, almost each and every one of us are suffering. And in different way we are suffering. We are under tension, we are under pressure. And in this cutthroat competition in this present day life, almost every time we are suffering. Being the ministers, we always face this type of questions. The people are coming and asking. One lady, almost every time, she will be ringing and, Swamiji, I am depending on you, on your prayer. My son is suffering. He was a very bright boy. Somehow he developed the habit of taking the drugs. Now he is suffering, he is in the hospital. Please help me. Now look at this. This is suffering. Then in another place, one couple came, they took the appointment and came and told, my daughter is going to marry one person. We know that he is not good. But now at this young age, he is not understanding, he is not listening to us. And we are sure that she is going to suffer. How to help her? Is suffering. One person came and told, I have lost my job and I don't like to go back to India, but my visa is like this. I am in great tension. I don't know what I will do. Suffering. There are so many varieties of suffering. Today morning before coming over here, a phone call came from back home, that India, the mother was telling her son, he appeared in class 12 exam but couldn't get good number, and that is a difficulty. The father is angry. the son is also dejected, not what you should do. And they call it joint entrance exam. That means to go to the medical or to the engineering. There's a one type of competitive examination. So we are asking him to say, suffering. They are having everything, but still something they are not having. Everywhere in every life we find something we are missing, we are suffering. How Vedanta can help us? Now this moment, as our topic is Vedanta, I am speaking about Vedanta, we can ask how religion can help us. Now we are practicing religion, almost each and every one are belonging to some church, some type of faith. How that faith will help me in everyday life? And if they say, well, you practice all this thing in this life, and then in the afterlife, in the heaven, you will get a good thing. Swami Vivekananda said, I don't believe that religion. If the religion cannot give me the comfort in this life, and that will give me in the afterlife, after my death, I doubt. I don't believe in that religion. The religion, the philosophy must help me in this life, very life itself. How? Why we suffer? The first question, and because there are three steps, three things we suffer, causes. First is because of ignorance. And I was telling you that incident that happened, that going to happen. The boy was so angry, you cannot imagine how angry he was. He was banging my table. I told, Arey, I didn't do anything. Whatever has been done by that lady, but why you are breaking my table? But he was so angry, angry young man, he cannot control himself. He was banging my table because he was so angry. Then afterwards he came, I am so sorry, I never knew, because of ignorance. Ignorance is the main cause of our suffering. So what is that ignorance? The Vedanta gives a wonderful example. It says that there was a rope lying on the road. A classical example, always used by the Indian sages, Indian saints. There's a rope lying on the street, and it was twilight, it was almost dark. And one person came and saw the rope, but thought that is a snake. And thinking that it is a snake, he started shouting for help and perspiring out of fear. Then the neighbors came with the flashlights and they showed him, oh, it was only a rope. Then slowly he became normal. Oh, it was only a rope. So this Jagat, we call it Jagat, this world, we see and we imagine something on this, and then we think that is that. When I see someone, I think, oh, he may be my enemy. I am thinking that he is my enemy. I am thinking that he is going to hurt me, and I am afraid. But maybe that he is a very good man. And exactly this thing happened in my life when I was in the northeastern part of India. It is very much disturbed, many of you who are keeping the information. A group of people are there all the time fighting. They are terrorist type of people. So we were passing that, and suddenly that our car broke. Two cars were there, one car broke. What to do, what not to do? Somehow we were trying to reach to a city where we can find out. It's not like America. Every place a developed place, everything. It's not even India. To find one good hotel is so difficult. But anyway, somehow we reached to a marketplace. Some shops were there, houses are there. We were thinking what to do, whether we'll sit inside the car and spend the night. Then one person came, and he was very tall, and I'm sorry to say he was not at all good looking, and he came and knocked that window, and I was thinking we should not open it. Then somehow we lowered that window a little, And then he said, "Don't be afraid. I look bad, but I'm a good man." And that's true. Then he said, "Swamiji, I know you. You don't know me, but I know you. And you are a very respectable person. And every time you pass through this, I notice from my shop, I have a shop over here, I have a house. Please come. And this is my son. And he is studying the engineering in Pune, in the western part, you can say, in the India. And he came and he talked in English, and he said that I am assuring you, please come. My father has a habit to help people. And then after the night food, we come out all the time. We go around. If anybody needs help, then he helps. And today we have found you. Please come, believe us." So we had to believe. We went through him, and he dragged that car. Then afterwards, when we reached, he called his wife and daughter, so that we can understand, no, it's a family. And we went inside. They cooked at that night. It was almost 1 o'clock. The dead night, they cooked food for us. Then they fed us. In the meantime, they brought someone to change that, to make that car all right. And by that way, whole night, they helped us. But I was thinking, not only me, almost all our people, they were there, of 6 of us, we were thinking he's a bad man. So when we see, we imagine, and then over that we live. Either we enjoy or mostly we suffer. So why we suffer? Ignorance. And what is this ignorance for? Swami Vivekananda, the great personality, full of love and compassion and sympathy, very broad-minded. When he was walking on the street of New York in 1894, and someone who was carrying a load full of coal, he threw a stone at Swami Vivekananda. And when Vivekananda asked, "Why? You don't know me. That is why I am trying to hit you. I don't know you. Who are you? You don't look like me. You don't look like me." Just ignorance. So that is the reason all this fighting, all this suffering, all these miseries, because of the ignorance. So because of ignorance, we suffer. Though we are eternal, still we are afraid of changes, and we suffer. We know everything in this world is changing. Still we expect that things should be permanent. And when we cannot get that, we suffer. So whenever we look around, all the places, every moment they are changing. When you go through the pages of the history, everything is changing. Think of those days, 1870, the Chicago. Then the fire burned down everything. Then the next again, everything came up. The total new life in Chicago. So changes are coming every time. The people are changing, things are changing, but still we think, no, we are going to be permanent. There is a wonderful story in our scripture and mythological scripture. The 5 brothers were there, the famous 5 brothers in the Mahabharata. And the senior one was Yudhishthira, and like that, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahodeva, the 5 brothers. And the people used to call them Pancha Pandava. Pancha means 5. And Pandava, their father's name was Pandu. Pandava. And they were inside the jungle, hiding themselves from their enemies, and they were very thirsty. They wanted to find out one river or a pond. They found a pond, they went over there, and they were so thirsty that when they wanted to take little water, someone from the other side, they told, "Hey, don't drink without giving an answer to my question. If you drink a drop, you will die." He never cared. "I am so thirsty, I won't be able to talk to you unless I drink a little water. He drank and he became unconscious. The first brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother, all they became unconscious because they didn't listen to that person, because he was very powerful. He had that miraculous power. And the fifth one came. He was very knowledgeable. His name is Yudhishthira. Even in the war, Juddha means war, Sthira is calm and composed. Even in great trouble, he was calm and composed. So his name was Yudhishthira. When the Yudhishthira came, the same person told, Yaksha they call, don't drink. All your four brothers are lying over there. They are not dead, but they will be, unless you give me an answer. And their conversation went. And in one of the point, when one question was, what is Kimascharya? What is surprising to you? What do you think that is surprising? It's a wonderful question. In the human life, what is most surprising? Suppose someone asks us, what will be our answer? Okay, think about it. I am not answering. Now, when that question was asked to the Yudhishthira, pat came the answer, as they tell in English. Immediately he answered. He said, every moment people are dying, but those who are carrying those people to the cremation ground think we are going to survive. I am not going to die. Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamamandiram. Please allow me to speak in Sanskrit. This is a beautiful rhythmic language. Ahani ahani, every moment. Bhutani, the human people or all the jivas are the beings. Gachanti yamamandiram, dying. Yama is the king of death. Mandiram, in his house. So the people when die, we believe that they go to the Yama. Every moment people are dying. But the stiramichanti, those who are surviving, carrying the dead body, we go with nicely dressed to the cremation ground, we stand over there, and then maybe it is 2 hours, and when you are returning back, oh my God, it was so tiring, let us go to Starbucks. When I'm returning from, we forget, and we think that we are going to the. So that is the most surprising in the life of human being. We always think we like to going to survive when others are dying, and that is most surprising. But when people are dying, that is not the truth. What is the truth? We never die, We only change our body. That is the main reason. We only change our body. As we change our dress, as we change our clothes, similarly we change our body. But what is traveling? It's called Atma, the soul. It is traveling from body to body. And that depends on the work. If we do the good work, then you get a good body, good life. Otherwise, if you are thinking that nobody is here nearby, no police, no law, so I can kill, I can cheat, I can beat, I can do anything because nobody is going to catch me. Someone is there. And it is recorded. And that's why the question may be asked, why should we be moral? Just because there is a law, just because there is a police, just because there is a society to see and observe at me? No. Because by harming others, I am going to harm myself ultimately. So that is why we suffer. The first question answer is because of our ignorance. And second, we can ask why we suffer. The second answer is because of our ego. I. One of our Swamiji, in India, we always feel shy to tell I. Because our grown up, we grow in that way. I means the ego. You are not supposed to use that. So we always call we. When you write a letter, we will be very happy if you come. But who are we actually? So, it is I will be happy. So, when I was writing, the lady who was typing that letter, he told, but who are we? You are going to invite him. So, it is I am inviting. Why you are including we? There is no plural, it is all singular. Then another Swamiji, he told, in America it is iPhone, iPad, it is all I. And there is nothing wrong. I is the confidence. But when that I becomes only I, that's ego. When the confidence is there, when everybody is able to do, I can also do, that's called confidence, self-confidence. That is good thing. That is necessary. But when that becomes so big, only my way or highway, then it is difficult. Because it is only my way you have to follow, or you go away. That is the difficulty. That's ego. And that we should not use. I makes the problem. Almost every time, as many people going to marry, so almost double that people going for separation. Why? Ask this question. Why we cannot live together? The parents over here, there's a huge building, and son is living in the next block with his wife and children, and this too old person, they're constantly waiting when the son will come in the next weekend or maybe once in a month. Can't we live together? No. Why? I. It's my family, my life. You are not supposed to interfere. And who is suffering? Both. The parents are also suffering because right from the morning till the dead night before going to bed, all alone. Only alone who can live? Two people. One is mad, another is monk. Both are M. And the mad people, because they always live in their own mental world, so they can live alone. And monk means they are supposed to live alone. The monk, the word is coming from the Greek, it means lonely, alone. And how the monk are living alone? Because they are constantly thinking of God. As the mad person, the crazy person, he is living in his world of imagination. The monk is living in the world of spirituality, religion, constantly. So he is so happy in his own world. But all other people, they need company, friends. So we suffer because of the ego. For each and everything we are suffering. One lady came crying, and a few days before, she took initiation from me. You know that in India we have an initiation system, and she is my shishya. So naturally my daughter, she came, spiritual daughter, she came and told, Swamiji, my boss told that I am fired. What I will do? I told, why suddenly he said that? No, when he was assistant, I used to oppose in every meeting. I told, how come that you used to oppose him? I never liked him, so I opposed. And now he is not liking you, so he fired. So like it goes. In the office, when they are sitting for them, I don't know, but meeting is going on. That person that time was not in charge, and this lady also an officer. Sure. So this thing, then I told, see, you have the qualification, and in America you can just get any job anywhere, right, in different places. You will get a job, maybe somewhere away from here. It doesn't matter at all. I don't like to leave Chicago, and that cannot be. You never liked your boss, and naturally reciprocate. He also never liked you. Now you have to find out somewhere else. Anyway, she has got a good job and she is now settled. It's good. Now this thing is coming because of I am thinking in this way. I don't like. But have I ever? She is a very highly qualified lady, and she was really good for that particular the office, we can say, company. But the boss, the moment he became boss, immediately he never considered the company, he considered his ego. That is bad. This is not the very good administration. Administration means that we can remember that in the life of the President Lincoln. When Lincoln was trying to do something, I read it in one book, the Reader Digest, his biography came. There really I appreciated. And he said, this way we'd like to do something. Some project was coming up. And he gave that, his opinion, President Lincoln. And the file went to different table, and one ordinary person. And he wrote, if this is going to happen, the country is going to lose a lot. And the person who is thinking in this way is not capable to run a grocery shop. He wrote on the file. Can you imagine? Immediately, the other people, naturally, in the offices all the time, though they say colleagues, they say friends, but there's always competition is there. So naturally, the file went up, and they wanted to show it to the president, and they were sure that he is going to get fired. But instead, the moment the Lincoln saw that, and he called that person and told, can you please explain why you have given this mark? Then he explained, sir, please don't mind. If you are doing this way, this way, this way, we are going to lose a lot of things. I don't know details of that. Then Lincoln appreciated. And afterwards, he kept him in his near as an advisor. And that last man, that person, when the Lincoln was shot, and that person took his head and said, that person who commented that this is the person who has thinking in this way is not capable to run a grocery shop, wrote, here is a man, here is a God lying in the form of man. Here is a God lying in the form of man. That person told. And how the Lincoln got that? Because Lincoln was not having the ego. Though he was the president, he could simply say, go. He didn't do that. Because for him it is not me, but my country. I am the president, but I am a human being. I may make mistake. If anyone is giving me a good direction, good idea, why not to accept? So I is the cause of all suffering. We are lonely because of this ego. We cannot make friendship because we cannot adjust. When the friends are coming and giving their opinion, I am not ready to accept it. For each and everything, I want to see that my opinion is going. So that is the suffering. And third, why we suffer? Because of our desire. So for three things we suffer. First, we suffer because of our ignorance. Second, we suffer because of our ego. And third, we suffer because of our desire. In Bhagavad-Gita, a very famous book in the Hindu philosophy, it says, Kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhava, moha ashana, moha papma, viddinna iha bairinam. And the Arjuna, when he was conversing with Lord Krishna, the God, he said, you know, your enemy, they are not outside, they are within you. And who is your enemy? Your desire. And when the desire is not fulfilled, that anger. The moment I am having a desire, and when that desire is not fulfilled, I am angry. And when I am angry, I forget all other things. Again, that example of that young boy. His desire was not, he was thinking not going to be fulfilled, he became angry. And when he became angry, he lost all senses, all discriminating power. Instead of going to that person, that lady, their family, he was imagining something and he became so angry, he was coming and banging on my table. So this is Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, and Rajoguna Samadbhava. Rajoguna means there's something I must do, without thinking. Please remember the definition of the human being that I quoted from the Yashka. He is a human who, before performing anything, judge the result of that action. So the desire which is there within my mind, if it is not fulfilled, immediately I get angry and I get suffering. I was reading in that Chicago Tribune, one young lady, only in the class 9 standard, and she started liking a boy of our classmate, and then she came to know that another girl, her friend, the classmate, also liking the same boy, and she told that you should not talk to. Then what happened afterwards? She asked a revolver from her uncle. As a nice uncle, he gave the revolver with the bullets, perhaps gave the training too. And this young lady, not even crossed 16 or 17, she came and point blank shot her friend. And then she is in the juvenile court and the suffering. That another girl, she died, and this girl is going to suffer all through her life. But the desire was to get that boy, that young man, she didn't get. So desire, when we find that desire is not fulfilled, we become angry, and then we create the problem for ourselves and we suffer. Now, friends, I should conclude, and I will invite the questions that how Vedanta can help us. The first and foremost, Vedanta is a knowledge, the knowledge of reality. What is that reality? That we are actually consciousness, God, but we are not aware of it. Like a young boy, not aware about the capacity, but the parents, the teachers, they go on giving that encouragement, help, slowly that capacity grew up. That's called manifestation of that potential quality. So in the words of Swami Vivekananda, whom we follow, who is our leader, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within. Each soul is not only Hindu, the Christian, or the Buddhist, or the Muslim, no. Each soul. No barring of language or anything. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within, which is there within, by controlling nature, external and internal. That's all. So that is called the wonderful way. Now, if we can try to develop that, how we can develop that? Through knowledge. What is that knowledge? Let us start with the mundane knowledge. If we know each other, then we will naturally won't have the enmity, rather friendship. So the knowledge always expand our horizon of thinking. And if we know that, then we can understand that this person who was my friend, he used to behave so nicely, suddenly today he's little rough, he's shouting. Must be there some cause. He was not like that. Let me have some patience. Let me wait for some time. Let me see why he is behaving like that. There must be some reason. That is called manushya. That is called human being. Always considering why these type of things are happening. If we have that, naturally we can minimize our problem. Not that there won't be a problem, we can minimize our problem. So that is the first, that is the help of Vedanta. Then the Vedanta says that you are constantly there, always, everlasting. You are not going to die. Then naturally, if I am not going to die, only going to change my body, then what happens? In India they call, when they are marrying, they call it for 7 lives it will go. That's why at the time of marriage, Hindu marriage, perhaps you have noticed, there will be fire will be there in the center, and the husband and wife will go rounding the fire for 7 times. And they believe that at least coming 7 life we will be husband and wife. So obviously we should have very, very good relation. Otherwise, in this life we are suffering, in 7 life what will happen? So naturally that wonderful expression, and they say, that's just a joke, it's not true. One lady, she used to all the time quarreling with the neighbors, quarreling with the relatives, and quarreling with the husband, of course, and she died. And everybody, apparently, they were showing now, so sorry that she has passed away, but inside they were all happy, at least we will be in peace. When, after her burying her, when the priest was praying, let her soul go to heaven to God, immediately there was a thunder, and the husband told, Father, your prayer has been answered. She is already there. She is already there. It's all jokes, and all the jokes always goes to the ladies. Now they are very, very good. Our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, they're so compassionate and loving. Now this is what we happen. Why? Because we believe unless and until we are doing good work, not only physically but thinking, thought process also. If we are not thinking properly, positively, with a prayer, all the bad thoughts, bad work will bring bad result for me, and I am going to get that result in my next life. It's going to change again and again. So that is the Vedanta they teach us. And then our desire. What for desire? Why should we have all these? It's not necessary. One lady, she went on ringing to me and telling, Swamiji, I like to give half of my property to you. Why suddenly you are so gracious? And you can give your property to somebody else. No. She has not seen me. She has heard me in YouTube and saw me in YouTube lecture. And after listening to your talk, I think you are a good man, so half property I will give it to you. And I said, oh, you are welcome, that's good. Then she was going on doing these, and almost every day, and the moment she ring, I know there's 1 hour I have to. So what I do, the moment her phone call comes, I start walking. So at least some exercise and also the talking at a time. Now what to do? Then I told, Madam, why don't you now help? When we are leaving, after your death, somebody will call me and they will tell me that this property, etc. I am not sure by that time whether I will be there or not. Then I will have to make a will that if that property come, if I am dead, then this will go. Which one if? Now itself you can give some property to some people. There are so many poor people. Give them some help right now, and they will bless you. No, I don't like anyone. Look at it. Now, if you don't like anyone, then what you are going to do with the half of the property? That I will live in such a way so people fight over that. I don't know. So wonderful idea. So sometimes really sitting in the chair, I get so many pictures of the whole world. So this desire is terrible. We do not know when we are going to die, but at the same time we are thinking that we will live all through, and we like to do this, we like to do that, etc., etc. So friends, we can be happy. Really, we can be happy. Every moment we can be happy. Only thing we have to understand. And understanding the situation and the person, we have to adjust. The very first thing, we have to reduce our ego. And we have to think, all these, they are coming to me, they are also the expression, manifestation of the same God who has created me. First. Secondly, what I am thinking, maybe they are thinking in a different way. Why not listen to them? Try to understand if there is a good point. And thirdly, why I am going to desire so much? When I was born, at this age, someone is guiding me. Something is going on, happening. Accept it. And let me try to do as best as possible for myself, and at the same time, anyone coming near me. And constantly tell yourself, Sarvastaratu Durgani, Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu, Sarva Sadbuddhimapnotu, Sarva Sarvatra Nandatu. Wonderful prayer. It's not for myself. Oh God, please give joy to each and every one and remove their suffering. Sarvastaratu Durgani. Durgani means suffering. Please remove the suffering of each and every one. Whether I know them or not, doesn't matter. Please. And that prayer will go from your heart and it's prayed all over. As the hatred that is spreading because some people are thinking very strongly, similarly, the love, the prayer, the blessings, if we think, that will also have the tremendous power and will spread all over. So, Sarvastaratu Durgani, Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu. Let each and every one see positive thing, not the negative one. Each and every one having some defects. But if I see the good things, I am benefited, that person is also benefited. So let us see good things in each and every one. And Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu, Sarva Sadbuddhimapnotu. Let everyone listen and think good things, better for others and for himself. Thank you very much for listening such a long time, and I really pray to my God, let all of you be happy, and anyone coming near you, they also be happy. Because if you are good and your thoughts, your behavior, your gesture, posture, moving, everything will encourage that person to be good. Surely. And by that way, the whole area, the locality, the neighborhood, and then the whole society will be good. Let us hope, let us pray, because all good is God. Thank you very much. Up to 4:30? 4:45? So, time is there. So, I will take the question answer and then something, mixing it. People have 10-15 minutes to going out. So, please, 15 minutes if you have any question. Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned the creator is a Brahman. So, is it synonymous with Lord Brahma?
No, no.
Okay. So, my related question is that if it is not, Lord Brahma is the creator, did he also create the other two, Vishnu and Maheshwar?
See, Brahman is the consciousness. And then we are discussing about the Hindu way of creation. So I will be giving a talk, and it's a continuous series of lectures going on every Sunday. And I have given the name of that series of talk as the saga of the soul, how the soul is traveling and how the creation came. Last time we discussed about a different religion, how they are expressing the creation. And tomorrow it will be this thing, that is, as he is asking that question, that is what the Veda says. And the next will be again the search for the root, that is the subtitle, what the philosophy says. That will be third. Your question is the Brahman is the consciousness. And from that Brahman, it is pure consciousness, it cannot create. So it created this Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha, the name of the Hiranyagarbha, that is a consciousness, the intellectual, and also some level of Rajaguna. Is a pure consciousness, and at the same time Rajaguna, the acting, working capacity, that Hiranyagarbha. This Hiranyagarbha created Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and then they said, you have to do. So this is the level, and it becomes very easy for us to understand, ordinary people. But actually it is Brahman, which is all pervading as consciousness, and it has no form, no name. People only call it as Brahman. And one day, as if it thought, Ekaham bahushyamavihi, I am alone, I like to be many. The moment it thought, creation started. And that is the main answer. Thank you. Can you please? Any other question, please? Yeah.
Will you elaborate, please? You made the comment, you quoted that the definition of humanity is that
The human being.
the human being is one whose actions are predetermined by judgment or preceded by judgment. Even in simple day-to-day activities, we see, for example, we have a pet, and he doesn't like to obey me, except when he sees that I have a
Stick.
treat for him. So when I have a treat, he immediately responds. So his action is based on his decision that if he obeys me, he will get the treat. Are we talking about a similar kind of thing,
No,
or
no,
something
no.
more?
Something more.
Something more.
Say, because is only the animals or the pet, they are acting, behaving, because that particular thing it knows, so it wants to get it. It's a sort of a desire. But here the discrimination, if I am doing this, will this be good or bad? If I am doing this, will this be beneficial for the people, or it will be bad for the people? So when a person is thinking in that way, then naturally his behavior, his actions, his decisions will always be good for the society. Particularly, suppose each and every one is a leader. Whenever we talk about leader, we think that the political leader or spiritual leader. No. As the head of the house, the father of the house is also a leader. His decision makes the fate of the family. In America, we may not understand that in that way, but there are many, many countries are there. If the father says, the girls of my family should not get education, they won't go to school, they won't be able to go to school. So that is the decision immediately. But the father, if he says, how it happens, again, an example, and it is fact, one young girl from Pakistan came to India to study, and then she started loving another boy, a Punjabi boy, and she married him. And the parents over there in Pakistan felt insulted, and they told, you have not listened to us, so we don't consider you as our daughter. That was there. Why not? That they didn't think. Just they said like that. After almost 10 or 12 years, when that girl was having a young boy, a son, and then a phone call came, and told, okay, now please come and bring that grandson, we like to see him. And it will be better if you two come instead of your husband. So the lady thought that my father's mind has changed. She was very happy. She went over there. You know what happened? All the family members, they dug and buried alive their own daughter and the grandson over there. Killed them. Can you imagine? Terrible thing. But why this happened? That person is not thinking what is going to be afterwards. Can you call him a human being? No. He is having a human feature, but not that human quality. So that's why the Yashka, he is giving this definition, a person who can think what is good and bad of his action, then take the action, is a human being. So that is mainly. This, if we go to that world is terrible. We cannot imagine. Any other question, please? Yeah. No. The Maya conception comes afterwards. They're asking the questions from the Indian philosophy. There's a Maya, the word M-A-Y-A, that Maya is a type of thing that we cannot explain, but we are all under that spell. Now, what is that Maya? I was not knowing who is going to be my father, my mother, my brother, my wife, my children. And now after my birth, I came one after another, all this relation. And I started thinking they are only my own. But when I die, where they live? I don't know. But as long as I am living, surviving, so long I am under the spell of that thought, this is the only reality and nothing else. And that is called Maya. But this is a totally different thing than Hiranyagarbha. Maya never creates. After the creation, all this play goes because of Maya.
So as a follow-up to that, so Maya is more of an illusion rather than any other thing?
It's not illusion. Say, something is there. Illusion means there is nothing, but I am imagining. But it is not like that. Something is there, but I am imposing something on that and then started accepting that imagination. There was a rope, there is a rope. A rope was there. On the rope, I imposed the snake. So, not that there was nothing, I simply imagined something. No, not like that. I heard a group of people, they were traveling and they were ghost hunters. So they thought, let us go. Daytime it was very good, ghost hunting. But when they were coming back, it was dead night. And when they were coming, that was a meadow in Bengal, and no one around. And when they were coming, suddenly someone told, look at that. What is that? They saw one lady standing, covering her head in the Indian way and calling them like this, again and again. And the ghost hunters were almost going to be ghosts themselves. So then one person told, we are so many, a ghost is one. Let us go a little near and see what is going to happen. Then they hold the hands. When you touch someone, hold the hands, you get little, that strength of yourself. You are not alone. So they were slowly, they reached to that point, and they saw that there is the leaf, big leaf. Over that, the moonlight is coming, so it is white. And when in the air, slowly that leaf is doing like this, and as if they are calling. So that is something is there, we are imagining. It's only a leaf. And over that there was little moonlight. And those people, they imagine that is the ghost and the lady ghost. And she is calling them. So naturally they are terrified. So this is not illusion, superimposition. Adhyarap and apovada. There are two words in the Vedanta. Adhyarap means imposing something, and then apovada. Then we are removing. There's sometimes some people, they come to me, that I have become in charge of that, and they think that I am not following as their guru, the predecessors were following. I told you it's not possible. The father's way is different, the son's different. Many things are common, but there may be something that you have to accept. Unnecessarily, they are suffering. Very simple thing. They're imposing the idea, this is bad, imposing. I told, why don't you come and stay with me and see? I am not a bad man. You can judge from there. So imposing and suffering, that is the Maya. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So that's the same thing as ignorance?
That is ignorance. But the ignorance means I am God, but we have forgotten that. I am going to live eternally, we have forgotten. I am the source of happiness, we have forgotten, according to Vedanta. So that is why I am thinking I am tiny little person, constantly suffering, constantly depending on somebody is clapping. If somebody is clapping and I dance, I jump and sing, and am I that? That some people will be over there and clapping and I am performing. I am the master of myself. I don't care anybody. And I am the peace, eternal peace. There is no hankering within me. We have forgotten all that and thinking that this is, I am suffering. So one prince, the son of a king, and he was lost when he was very young. And he was raised by some poor people, some fishermen. And afterwards, again, the king's people, they found him out after 10, 12 years. And when he was a young man, they brought him back, and then they declared, this is the prince, yes, he is my lost son. He was declared as the prince, crown prince of that kingdom. But his habit became just like the poor man. Anything good, he will take and keep it. He thinks that there's a very costly thing, I will take it. But where he will take? The one day when he was doing that, one wise minister came and told, sir, you are the master of everything. Why you are taking this? Where you will take? The whole thing that you see, it is your kingdom. So then he became, that knowledge came. And that is why the guru, the preceptor, the spiritual teacher, they can come and tell, why you are crying?
Your attention, please. The library will close in 30 minutes. If you need a new library card, please report to the check out desk now. All printing must be completed within the next 15 minutes. Thank you.
So this may be, in 10 minutes?
No, we have some.
So this is the actually. So if we really know what is going to happen, and then is wonderful joy. And if we really can understand and become that joyful, whoever comes near me, they will also get that joy. What is the proof that I am progressing in the spiritual life? Each and every one will start liking me. They will like to come near me. And I will never depend on anything for my joy and for my comfort. So that's why the ignorance that you told, so that is all the time we have to tell ourselves we are eternal. I and my Father in heaven are one. Constantly I have to tell. Any other question? Yeah.
Suppose somebody loses his children due to a plane accident or some kind of medical situation. How that suffering can be answered through these 3 points you mentioned?
Yeah, I can understand. So, that life, the child, I gave the birth and that grew on my lap and saw a lot of attachment and affection, and suddenly it lost. Naturally, each and every one of us can understand the suffering of the parents or the guardians, those who are close to that child. But at the same time, if we think in a different way, what I am going to do? Now he is no more. Shall I go on crying, closing all the doors and windows, not mixing with anyone, not performing anything? Let me suffer, let me suffer, let me suffer because something, the sad thing has happened to me? No, that cannot be the answer. Rather, you have to think, he was or she was a baby on my lap. Now the same has gone in so many. So naturally, my love, which was within one soul, let it go to many. So your love will go and touch all the children, and naturally that negative suffering will never be there, and you will be able to overcome that suffering and will be able to be more useful for the society. So that is the main thing. One lady, she is still now, because of the diabetic, she can't move. She is in the bedridden. Once that is how the religion helps. She is a very, very religious person. And she rang me and told, my 2 daughters, and they are both husbands, and their children, 2, one boy and a girl, they went to Simla. You know Simla? There's the hilly place, and suddenly one of the son-in-law, he said, I will drive. There's a driver was there, and they are from Delhi. They never had that idea how to drive in the hill. So there he sat and then he started driving, and not understanding where he has to take the turn, it simply flew from there, and then all of them, they died. Afterwards, somehow one girl, she survived. Now she rang me and told, crying and crying, Swamiji, I have lost everyone. I have lost everyone. There is no one in my life. There is no one in my life. She was going on crying. You know that in that condition you cannot say anything. There is no words of consolation. I was waiting. Then after some time, she herself told, no, that is the wrong thing I am saying. I have no one. No, that is not true. I have my God. Because she is the devotee of Sri Ramakrishna Ma Sarada, and she was telling, I have Sri Ramakrishna, I have Ma Sarada, they are with me. You, the holy people, you are also like my children. You are also there. I have a full family. Why should I think that I have lost? Because of this thought, afterwards what happened? She turned her house as a temple, started inviting the monks and the nuns to have the classes over there every month, twice. All the nearby people, devotees, they are coming and gathering over there. Now she has become the mother of each and every one. The whole neighborhood, they call her mother. And they come to see, and they are so happy to serve her. Now she was having only 2 daughters. Now the whole area, all the ladies are coming, they are calling her mother. So something happened that is very, very painful. But to overcome that, if we take this type of actions, that can help, and positively it can help. Anything? Hmm? Okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that it is possible to overcome the problem through the views of Vedanta and religion? Yes? Wow, very good. Thank you very much. See, it is possible. It is. The only thing is only the beginning. So we have to understand it thoroughly. Then you will see, this is, as they call it, sea change. The same personality, the same relation, the same neighborhood, the same surroundings, but your mind has become so broad, so big, and so encompassing, embracing each and every one with love. The total change. So that is called Godhood. As the Jesus is telling again and again, the blessed are those who are pure in heart. What is that purity? Love. And love, every one of us are having. Love for our kith and kin, love for our... No, that love for each and every one. And how we can develop that love? Every day if we can pray, let everyone be happy, O my Lord. Before you bless me, please bless others. Let everyone be happy. There are so many suffering. In so many ways people are suffering. Please remove that suffering. That's the expression of love. And if we can really genuinely pray like that with a tearful eyes, your mind will be purified. That is sure. And the moment the mind is purified, we can see God. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Let there be peace, let there be peace, let there be peace. Thank you very much.